Hello, I'm David Hart, Executive Vice President at the Florida Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line. We have four special guests with us today, four members of the Florida House, Representative Loran Ausley, Representative Ben Diamond, Representative Al Jacquet, and Representative David Silvers. Representatives, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
There's been a very robust conversation going on in Tallahassee lately about economic development, economic diversification, as well as the importance of our tourism industry. In fact, recently the Florida House had a bill on the floor to completely eliminate Enterprise Florida. And we've learned recently that there'll be a discussion coming up soon about cutting $50 million from Visit Florida's budget. You all were pretty strong supporters on the House floor recently, and your views that we should not do away with economic development role for the state, much less marketing our state for tourism. In the spirit of ladies go first, Loran, tell us why you took a strong stand in support of Enterprise Florida.
Well, you know, we're the third largest state in the nation, and what's more important than jobs? And if I go around my district or around the state, businesses tell me they want predictability. And the fact that the third largest state in the nation is having a real conversation about eliminating our economic development arm, frankly, is quite alarming to me. And I think it's important that we take this stand to protect the jobs and to protect our businesses, large and small, across the state.
Representative Diamond, you're from the Pinellas County, St. Pete. How does this impact your district, your people in your community? Why are you concerned about the elimination of Enterprise Florida?
Well, it has a huge impact on my community, and I agree with Representative Ausley. We have had a number of corporate headquarters relocate to St. Petersburg as a result of these incentives. We've also had corporate expansions, and all of that translates to jobs in our community. And I heard that loud and clear from the mayor of St. Petersburg and other people in my community that while there were certain ways we could improve the accountability of Enterprise Florida, we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We would be if we go forward and eliminate all of these incentive programs, it's my understanding we would be the only state in the country to do so, which I think would put us at a huge competitive disadvantage in this important area.
So we often talk at the Florida Chamber about how most jobs in Florida are created without incentives, but in those rare cases where it's us versus another state and incentives are the difference maker, sounds like what I'm hearing you say is, why would you remove that tool from the toolkit and put us at an uncompetitive disadvantage?
That's right. I mean, just to give you one example, I read a story about there's a neighborhood in Tampa called Ybor City, and one of the things this bill does is eliminate all film incentives. And apparently, the state of Georgia created a separate mock-up of Ybor City because they were doing a better job of competing for that business than we are. We need to be in the game here in getting these business opportunities and jobs to our state.
Representative Jacquet, you're from South Florida, and we've had some conversations about the importance of tourism to your part of the state. We have 1.2 to 1.4 million jobs in Florida tied to our tourism sector, and roughly 1 out of every 76 visitors creates a new job. So why is marketing our state important?
And David, you hit it. You hit the nail on the head. One, a job is created every time we have 76 visitors that come to the state of Florida. In Palm Beach County, as David, Representative Silvers is from Palm Beach County as well, we've seen over $7 billion economic impact on tourism. And so this is a huge industry. And when we talk about my district particularly, the Revere Beach area, Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, West Palm Beach, you're talking about hoteliers, restaurants, taxi cab drivers, we've got airports, we've got ports. Everyone that comes to Florida or comes to Palm Beach County help in creating a new job. So this is great, and it's a driving force of our economy in Palm Beach County. As you heard from Representative Ausley and Representative Diamond, that competition is the key. And if we're not competing, we're losing. My motto is simple. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Right? And so when we take these dollars out and we say we're getting off of that table, we become the team that's on the menu. And states like Texas and other states are going to pass us because we're now taking a step back. We've gotten to where we are because we've been competitive.
Representative David Silvers, I want to ask you, so we did have this vote on the House floor that sort of severely changed the scope of Visit Florida, but we now know that there may be a consideration of a $50 million cut to the marketing program of how we tell the story about Florida beyond our borders. Why is that a bad idea?
That's a bad idea on a lot of places. First off, I like to reiterate something that Representative Jacquet mentioned. We need to market ourselves. We are seeing other states market themselves. Just last night I was watching March Madness, and this was a national televised program, and I saw multiple advertisements for Visit California. We're now competing with other states that are marketing themselves. So drastically reducing our budget by $50 million is not a step in the right direction. We need to constantly evolve. We need to constantly market ourselves. There's an old adage about marketing. I learned this when I was getting my MBA, that Coca-Cola, which is generally every year is the #1 brand market that's recognized around the world, but yet they constantly market themselves and they constantly evolve with their marketing. Though the amount of people that are coming to Florida is increasing every year, it's not guaranteed to increase the year after that and the year after that. We need to evolve. We need to see what the landscape is like, and we are seeing it right now, where we see ads for Visit Michigan and Visit California and Visit Arkansas, Visit the Carolinas. We need to be marketing ourselves nationally and internationally. I would like to see more international visitors as well, because an international visitor is spending more time and more money in the state of Florida. We can see that they'll go to perhaps Central Florida and visit the attractions in Central Florida, and then go to South Florida and spend time there as well. So slashing the budget by 2/3, I don't think we're moving in the right direction. And I do want to comment on Representative Diamond's comment about Ybor City. The movie was actually Live by Night. It was the Ben Affleck movie that came out earlier this year. And to find out that a movie studio wanted to rebuild a Ybor City in another state instead of just film it here, it's very disheartening to see that. And I know a lot of people in the film industry that are losing their jobs because of, basically we're telling the film industry we're closing up shop. This is not a hospitable environment for you.
On behalf of our members at the Florida Chamber, I want to thank you all for the courage you've displayed to stand up for economic development, for job diversification, and our tourism industry. And to our members, thank you for joining us on another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.